To be honest with you guys, I feel like crap right now. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do in order to be successful. And that's exactly what this video is about. Because if you're a guy who knows that he can be in better shape, but you haven't gotten into that shape just yet, well, quite frankly, this video is going to piss you off. And it's because I'm going to expose the mental pattern that is truly holding you back from ascending into that version of yourself that you know you could be, but more importantly, that you know you should be. Because here's the thing, a guy like you, you've watched the YouTube videos, you've gone onto ChatGPT, you've tried different programs, but for whatever reason, they just don't work. But the thing is that it's not the program that's keeping you stuck. It's not ChatGPT. It's not even your crazy work schedule that is holding you back from becoming a better version of yourself. What it is this one mental pattern. And once you overcome it, that's literally when everything else changes. But here's the thing, like I was that guy too, bro. I was the type of guy who would always convince himself that it was the program's fault, that I just can't lose the stubborn belly fat because of XYZ, work, job, girlfriend. Like it was just a bunch of bullshit that I told myself so many times that I eventually just started believing it. But you see, my problem was never working out. My problem was never showing up. It was always the nutrition. And finally, one day I realized that I just had to stop giving a fuck about it. I had to stop giving a fuck whether or not I felt like hitting my macros, whether I was too hungry to stay at maintenance calories or stay in a deficit. And to be honest, I had to stop giving a fuck about whether or not my abs were ever going to show because I was putting too much pressure on myself. And it was actually, quite frankly, just making me a wreck. I put so much pressure on myself to lock in that eventually I just realized I was locked out of becoming the best version of myself. And slowly but surely, I began to let go. I let go of all these limiting beliefs that I was never going to get the physique I wanted. I let go of whether or not I was hungry. I let go of the fact that, quite frankly, I needed to be perfect. And eventually, I just kind of stopped giving a fuck. But not giving a fuck was the catalyst that I needed in order to reach the best physique that I've ever achieved in my life. Because I stopped caring about when the next meal was going to come. I stopped caring about the hunger cravings. I stopped caring that my abs weren't showing yet. And eventually that led to the core principle of what I call the don't give a fuck method. And it's because I removed the limiting beliefs. I removed the negative self-talk. I removed the shit that was holding me back from seeing the physique that I truly wanted to. I feel like that's what most guys don't do. They never remove that negative self-talk. They never remove the self-limiting beliefs. They quite frankly never remove that version of themselves that is holding them back from living the life that they truly want to be. Because in all reality, even though it's not meant for this video, this kind of methodology, this kind of mindset transcends outside of the gym and into other areas of your life. Quite frankly, every area of your life. But to keep it simple, it's kind of like brushing your teeth. You wake up, you brush your teeth. It's non-negotiable. It happens because you don't give a fuck about whether or not you want to brush your teeth. You just do it because your teeth are nice. You want nice teeth. Now, you could just take it there, right? And accomplish this just by doing that. Like just by switching your mindset to that. But what we all know is that consistency is a different type of ball game. So what I've done is I've narrowed down this thought process, this framework, this philosophy into 3 core pillars. And number 1 comes down to the mind. Because we have to rewire the way that you talk to yourself. And we have to kill the negotiation. The more time you negotiate with yourself, the more time you waste and the farther away your dream physique will be. We have to literally build the internal operating system that allows you to follow through with what you set your mind to. Now, the second pillar is very simple. It's the body. And this is like the actual training, the actual nutritional approach that we take towards going from having, for example, stubborn belly fat or small arms to a ripped six-pack and big arm. But this isn't built for a guy who wants to go to the gym 7 days a week. That's ridiculous. You're going to burn yourself out and it's not going to be sustainable. Everything I do is based off of minimalism. It's minimalist training, minimalist nutrition, but most importantly, it's actually enjoyable because you're eating foods and doing workouts that you want to do instead of things that you don't want to do. Now, the third pillar is by far the most important, and it comes down to state, short for either mental state or emotional state. In all actuality, it's your state of being. You can either be the guy who's constantly nervous or constantly overthinking, or you can be the guy who's calm, cool, collected, and shows up, does the things he needs to do, and doesn't bitch about them. For some people, that comes down to nutrition. Others, it might come down to going to the gym. Quite frankly, for most people, it just comes down to who you are as an individual on a daily basis. But this is the most beautiful part. Once you start to control your state, that's when you actually attract the physique and the life that you truly want. And just so we're crystal clear on exactly what I'm talking about, that can literally be as simple as waking up tomorrow morning and immediately getting out of bed and making your bed. No scrolling, no sitting there going, oh, I'm tired. Just you wake up, you make your bed, and you begin your day. That's actually one of the most beautiful things about controlling your state is that you just start to do that shit automatically. But without actually staying consistent in the gym or with your nutrition, you're just never gonna be able to control your state in the first place. Now, let's get real here, right? Because what we're talking about goes beyond the gym and beyond macros, beyond your nutrition. But in all reality, your fitness, your body, it's the entry point. It's the entry point towards becoming not only the best version of yourself, but the version of yourself that you see in your dreams. The point here is that all of this isn't just about getting jacked. This is just the entry point towards your success for the rest of your life. What we're building here is a system, a method that you can follow on a daily basis to where success becomes inevitable. And that's why I'm putting together the Sermont School of Life. That's exactly what the Don't Give a Fuck method falls into. Because all success starts with your body. And until you master your body, you can't expect to master anything else in your life. You know what? If you can't show up for yourself in the gym, in the kitchen, then nothing else is going to work. Now, here's the thing. I truly believe that I can only work with a handful of guys at a time, right? I would love to take on everyone, but I simply just can't. This is something that revolves around real coaching, real mentorship to help bring people from where they are right now to who they see when they do manifest their dreams. And to be honest, what the coaching looks like is pretty simple. It just is based around proper nutrition, proper fitness, and implementing that into your lifestyle and nobody else's. You get direct access to me, accountability, adjustments, tweaks, mindset tipping. The full Don't Give a Fuck operating system should be fully installed into your brain within the first 3 months. And if you can't do it then, man, then it's fine. Like, you might need more time. But the point of the matter is that from today to 90 days from now, you will be a completely different version of yourself. But if you're a guy who's just looking for a magic pill or like a 7-day fix, and this shit just simply is not for you, and that's fine. But also, like, if you're not willing to be challenged, if you're not willing to just get uncomfortable with the growth, and I quite frankly can't help you. Because when it comes down to a guy who is done trying, who is ready for change, but is most importantly willing and able to invest in himself, that's a guy who, no matter whether he has me or someone else, he physically can't lose. And those are the guys that I actually want to work with, not a fucking fraud or a phony. So if that sounds like you, I put a short application form together in the link below. Fill that out, book a call, and we'll talk about whether or not you're actually serious and if you actually are the type of guy who is capable of change. If you are, great, you're going to fucking crush it. If not, man, then just keep watching the free content that I put out. I'm sure you'll get some sort of motivation or education from that. Until then, I guess we'll just have to see what happens for you, man. I do wish you the best of luck no matter what you decide to do.